Hey there, so today is another one in my Emotionally Broken series, but it's a little different because something popped into my head just now. I wasn't sure if I was going to film another video or not, but I need to do the history of my mental health and my backstory a bit, and which I will do. However, there's one condition that when I first made my Emotionally Broken series, I didn't list because it's not something I think I have anymore. However, I do in a way, and that's school phobia. And it's not a condition that I will know. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of people even believe it exists when they do hear it. School phobia is an existing phobia. It is an anxiety-related phobia, and it is been identified as a condition since the 1960s. There is not a wiki page on it, otherwise I would read that out. I was diagnosed with school phobia at the age of 12. I'd been relatively okay with school throughout primary school, and then the last year hit, and well, I suppose I'm giving you a bit of history on we're calling this school phobia slash my sort of some of my backstory at least. I was fine. I got bullied a little bit, but there was nothing that I couldn't cope with. I definitely had a better way of coping when I was younger. Then I hit year 6, which is about, for me it was 10 years old because I'm an August baby, so 10, 11. And I had to go choose a different school, and I had to visit this school, and I didn't want to. I don't want to leave this school. I like this school. I was happy and comfortable at the primary school I went to. I still am. My mum is the caretaker there. She was the cleaner at the time. And I wanted to be there. Why did I have to go anywhere else? You can tell how I was as a child, and still am. Stubborn as heck. I started to refuse to go on visits. I caused issues. Once or twice I pretended to be ill. I would say that time was the beginning of it all. Then in year 7, it was when it really blew up. I'm at a new school. My old friends don't want anything to do with me, or if they do, they're making new friends and they're not just my friends anymore. And you have to remember, this is in a mind of an 11-year-old, and I had only just turned 11. I was so young. How am I meant to understand all this? But that was what we were expected to do. I began to pretend to be sick a lot more when I was getting bullied more. It was on a, I would say, medium sort of scale. I was not getting bullied horrendously. I was getting bullied to the point where it really did upset me a lot. But it was not the only factor in what made me eventually leave. Having to be social when I didn't know how to be social, having to be a normal child and I had no idea how to be a normal child, there was a lot of factors there. The fact that the work was a lot harder than I was used to, and I wasn't getting the help I needed from my dyslexia. There was a lot of factors that caused the school phobia. It was a much bigger school. I didn't like many of the teachers. And eventually you can see a decline in me, because I go from trying to be sick, stay off sick every now and then, to it becoming a weekly and then daily struggle. There was a video which my mum took, and I don't blame her for it. It is now deleted, but I don't blame her, because I understand why she did it. And she took it of me refusing to go to school, to show the school, to say, look, if you can get her there, that's fine, but I can't. Look at what I'm having to deal with. I'm lying in my bed and I am crying my eyes out. Seriously crying my eyes out. I am quite obviously very upset. And then there is a point where I look at the camera. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of terror in my eyes since. That was... Mum has said that was the turning point. The moment she realised this was more than a child playing up. There was something wrong. I stayed off school from then, and then just after I turned 12 was when I finally had my assessment, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and school phobia. School phobia can be a couple of different manifestations. It can be the fear of the people inside the school, it can be a fear of the building itself, a fear of the surroundings, a fear of the work. Very similar to any other type of phobia, there's lots of variations on it. Biggest thing for me with this was everything, and it was specifically the secondary school. It took me a while to get back to the primary school. It took me a good 2 years before I could go back to my old primary school. I can go in there now, no problem. I honestly don't know if I could go to my old secondary school. And I'm almost 24. I didn't leave my secondary school at the age of 16. I technically left it at the age of 11, because when I was diagnosed with school phobia, I then got a... Sorry, I'm messing with things again. I then got a home tutor who was to help me slowly go back to the school, which at first, for a time, that was what happened. And throughout year 9, I was part-time. By this point, I had what is now known as DOR. At the time it was known as DAT. It is a dyslexic and dyspraxic treatment. Not something I know much about, because I was obviously a child at the time. It was anything to try and help me. This is much tougher to talk about than I thought it would be. I think everyone was at their wit's end. I had depression at this point as well, and I struggled so hard. I really struggled. I didn't know how to socialise at all at this point. Neither does India, apparently. India doesn't like school too, apparently. Anyway, I was a very anxious person, I was very emotional, and you mean you're a teenager, it's bad enough. And at the start of year 10, end of year 9, I refused to go to school again, so I was sent to a centre for people who, for whatever reason, will not go to mainstream school. So that's what I did. I went to the centre and I was bullied there. In an environment where you're not meant to be bullied, I was bullied, and it sucked. And the school phobia kicked in again. because regardless of the fact that they didn't call that place a school, it was a school in my eyes. It had a preschool attached to it, for God's sake. It was a school in my eyes, and regardless of what people told me, I knew it was a school. It didn't matter, I learnt there, so to me it was a school. It was always going to be a school, regardless of what anyone ever said. And so, by the end of year 10, I left, and I was home tutored for my last year, and I did my GCSEs at my old primary school. We had to get permission and a whole load of stuff as well, but I did get a few. School phobia is not something people really talk about. It isn't a widely known phobia. It is a real phobia, and it's one that ruined my teenage years. I still couldn't walk into my old secondary school. I have already said to my mum, that if/when I have children, if I am still in this area, when it comes to choosing a secondary school, they will not have the choice of that one. And I know people are thinking, but it's different now. And yeah, it is. I know it's different, but my children can't go to school into a school that I can't walk into. Something for people who indies come to hell. Hi, gorgeous. Something for anybody who has a child, or maybe you, or it's a cousin or a little sibling or a friend's child or a friend. Something doesn't seem right. Something seems up. They're off ill a lot. They're down. They're not themselves. Make sure they get help. Make sure you Google school phobia. It's a real thing, and I didn't know what it was. The only reason I even got a diagnosis of what it was because my nan saw it on This Morning. That was the only reason I got a diagnosis of it, is because my nan saw it on This Morning. When I got directed to CAMS, we told them about it. They looked up, they realised, oh yeah, that's what she has. I didn't do college either. I did a home course because school. And people say, but college is so different and uni is so different. And yes, I completely believe you. They must be very different to school. But you still learn. And in my eyes, that's school. And any time I have done any kind of learning since, yes, Windows, what do you want? Do you want to be in the video? Can we, are we going to say hello? Do you want to show them? Show them what you're doing? Yes. Oh, my bad. There we go. Yeah, are you showing them how brilliant you are, telling me that you need to be fed, but you won't let me finish the video so I can feed you? If you can hear purring, or you occasionally see a tail, or a head and ears, it's him! Can I wrap this video up then? Yeah, I know. Oh dear. Distracted. So distracted. I am a very open person. school phobia is not something I talk about. And I don't know why. Well, I suppose I do know why. It's because I no longer see it as part of my life. My severe generalised anxiety disorder, my agoraphobia, my depression, my BED, they have all become much bigger aspects of my life than this school phobia that I had 8 years ago. But it's still there, and it does worry me. It worries me that if I have children, or I adopt, or I foster, or whatever is in my path, will I be able to walk into their school? Will I be able to go to parents' meetings and parents' evenings and take them in and do visits with them? Will they have the same issues? Will they develop school phobia? I don't want them to go through that. This is sort of making sure that people are aware that this is a thing. If you have a child that's playing truant or skiving off, dig a little deeper. The chances are that child is just very, very scared. For many reasons. Whether it's school phobia or something else. But I would put money on scared being the first emotion. Right. I need to feed Indy and Annie now. Indy, want to say goodbye? Come here. Do you want to say goodbye? Do you want to say goodbye? Look in the camera and say, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. And until next time, Indy, that's a brush. You can't have that makeup brush. I'll murder you. You'll become a handbag. No, you won't, obviously, but he's needing my hand. Until next time, just believe. Say bye. Bye. What are you thinking? Quaking cat lady out again. Bye. Yeah, I know. Me too.